Sports. We are Blackmore. We are NC.
The Royals have had two opponents this year, Major League Baseball teams and Mother Nature. So far, they have done much better against the other teams. Tonight could be a battle against both. Game 1 with Chicago is next on Fox Sports Kansas City. Royals baseball comes to you from Kauffman Stadium, and with yet another postponement, now a Saturday, Sunday, Monday series begins tonight with the Chicago White Sox. Hi, everyone. I'm Ryan Lefevre. Welcome to Royals baseball. And Jeremy Guthrie gets to start against Chicago tonight, and who better to set the tone against the Sox? When Guthrie came to the Royals last year, he had been 3-9 with the Rockies. He lost his first 3 with the Royals, then he beat the White Sox on August 8th. He has been one of the best pitchers in Major League Baseball since, and he has absolutely punished the Chicago White Sox to a 0.50 ERA. That's in 5 starts. And as we bring in Rex Hudler, let's talk psychology with Rex. This should be fun. Now, both the Royals and the White Sox will say, hey, this is just a good pitcher who happens to pitch well against the White Sox. But as a former player, Hud, is there some psychology involved?
Absolutely, there is for sure, Ryan, because number one, and what's the most important thing, his own teammates are coming to the ballpark saying, Guthrie, great. Oh, Chicago, even better, because he owns these guys. On the other side, the other clubhouse is going, Guthrie, ooh. Okay, just that little ooh, that's all it takes for that little mental dauber to go down. But let me just tell you, against Cleveland, his last outing, they weren't the White Sox. They weren't wearing black. But let me just say they were all over his ball. Now what I'm saying? On the ground, good contact. He throws. Salvi, good pitches. Everything that he's been throwing lately, either it gets hit on the ground or he's missing a bat. He's been really good, especially against the White Sox. The numbers don't lie. But the confidence is exactly what his teammates have, and he does too.
And with a win tonight against the White Sox, or even a no decision, he would set a team record with 17 consecutive unbeaten starts.
pitch yesterday, but just finished warming up in the bullpen, walking out to the dugout and getting ready to take on the Chicago White Sox. Guthrie and Royals pitchers, well, they haven't had a whole lot of work. Look at the month of May. We're only a few days in here, but Thursday got washed away, and of course yesterday was postponed, and that means this has been a very busy bullpen today. Guys typically throw one bullpen session in between starts, and the relievers are needing a little bit of work too, so usually you might have one or two guys throwing out there. Today, 6 of them. Luis Mendoza threw, J.C. Gutierrez, Greg Holland, Luke Hochevar, Tim Collins, and Urban Santana, but Dave Island saying these guys are ready. They're adjusting, they're professionals, and they know what they're doing. They also have a great defense behind them. First pitch is coming up next from Kauffman Stadium. Enjoy the game.
Is brought to you by the Missouri Lottery. Play it forward with Missouri Lottery. And by Chevrolet, your Kansas City Chevy dealers, the official vehicle of the Kansas City Royals. And by AT&T, the wireless receiver only from ATT Uverse. Visit att.com/freeyourtv. Rethink possible. Tonight's game is brought to you in high definition by Time Warner Cable, the official TV, internet, and home phone provider of the Kansas City Royals. And yet another postponement for the Royals this year. So last night's game pushed to tonight, 3-game series with Robin Ventura and the Chicago White Sox. They took 2 out of 3 from the Royals to begin the season in Chicago. Then they took 2 out of 3 from Seattle. The White Sox have gone 8-13 since, with a 5-game losing streak, and they have not performed on offense the way they had hoped. They are second from the bottom in team batting average in the league, at the very bottom in runs scored and on base percentage, but they do have power. 5th in the league in home runs. Both Alex Rios and Adam Dunn have hit 6. So here's a restart in the standings tonight. Royals are a half game back of Detroit. Cleveland 2.5, Minnesota 4, and the White Sox 3 games below 500 and 4.5 back in the Central. So just 4.5 games from the top to the bottom in the Central Division. Jeremy Guthrie 3-0 this year, and that includes a win against the White Sox in his first start back on April the 4th. That was the Royals' first win of the year.
All right, Jeremy Guthrie, he's going to go
at the White Sox hitters with a good, hard, sinking fastball. And it has a little bit of a tailing, running action to it, which comes in to righties and away from lefties. Nice little breaking ball that he's able to keep him alive with. It's not a real sharp breaker, but at times he can have some depth when he adds and subtracts off of that. Changeup is fantastic, so he's going to throw either one of them pitches at any particular time. Pitching to contact, but away from the power barrels. That's his key. Stay away from their power and continue to do what you've been doing against the White Sox, and that's attacking them, really going after these guys. Now Chris Getz, after taking the series off, the previous series against the Rays, he's back in there. Okay, he's a very good defender, got great range to his left and right, turns a nice double play, and Lorenzo Cain's back in there in center.
Getz facing his former team. Drafted by the White Sox, made his big league debut with the White Sox. Alejandro De Aza leads off for Chicago, hitting .250 with 5 home runs already from the leadoff position. And Guthrie's first pitch is in for a strike. Home plate umpire is Kerwin Danley.
Kerwin Danley in his 17th year already. That just seems like he got here not too long ago.
1 ball, 1 strike. Well, take the jackets off, roll up the sleeves. It is 50 degrees at Kauffman Stadium.
And we're playing ball.
Look at the movement on that pitch. Piazza gave up on it. He was backing off. And that pitch had some bite to it and caught the inside edge. 1-2.
Guthrie, nice smooth delivery. Little extra hip turn, add a little extra angles and depth as Dave Island helped him out along the way. His little breaking ball.
Hosmer gets De Aza for the game's first out.
Now there's several of the White Sox guys have had a lot of bats off of Guthrie. Alex Rios 50, Dunn's got 19, Canerco's got 38, so you know Alexi Ramirez 30. So these guys know Guthrie, but just because you faced him a lot doesn't mean you're going to have any more success off him. Although you do know his tendencies, and he's around the plate, so guys typically come up there in a swing mode.
Keppinger takes a strike across the knees, and I guess the other side of that is they know Guthrie. Guthrie knows them. They're drawing on their personal experience. He's drawing on his personal experience. They're watching video of Guthrie. Guthrie's watching video of them. And he is just right at the knees for the first 2 hitters tonight, and 0-2 on Keppinger.
Well, to tell you how hard it is to hit, Ryan, Guthrie could go like this and go fastball. He could give, I'm going to throw you a fastball when the hitter's looking at you and still throw it. Hitter has a better chance to square it up, but still no guarantee he's even going to hit it. That's how hard the game is.
It's tough to do. Strike out Keppinger, and Guthrie does it on 3 pitches. 2 down.
Yeah, Guthrie's Keppinger's a contact guy, so you strike him out, especially first time up, that ball's dancing. Love that super slow motion replay. That's so good. It slows the ball down so the fans can see the grip on the ball, the actual break.
And across the knees, a strike to Alex Rios.
I mentioned 50 at-bats Rios has had off of Guthrie in his career. 15 hits, 2 of those have left the yard.
Left center field, Cain is there. So another scoreless inning for Guthrie against the White Sox. 9 pitches, 1, 2, 3 in the first.
That's what we're talking about.
one game to weather on this homestand. The rainout with the White Sox will be moved to Monday, but it's been a good homestand. The Royals are 4-2 against the Indians, the Rays, and now beginning a 3-game series with Chicago with his batting order. And as Bud was talking about when we were going through the Royals defense, Lorenzo Cain back in there today. Same with Chris Getz. They were not scheduled to play on Thursday in the final game of the Tampa Bay series, which went just 3.5 innings and was postponed. The White Sox have had their injury problems this year, and especially in the starting rotation. So Dylan Axelrod will be making the start tonight. This will be his 6th start of the year and his first appearance against the Royals this season.
Yeah, and you know, in 18 innings pitched over his last 3 starts, they were all quality starts. He's looking for his first win since August 29th of last season against Baltimore Orioles. He's a guy who's not overpowering. He's going to do the best to stay out of the middle of the plate. He's a strike thrower, supposedly, although he has 10 walks so far in his 6 starts. But he's got a fastball. Maybe he will reach 90 at max. Good slider, nice changeup. He's a command guy, and sometimes gets hitters shaking their head, going back to the dugout saying, how did that guy get me out?
The old comfortable 0 for 4.
That's the guy. That's Axelrod.
Alex was 3 out of 10 in the Tampa Bay series, batting at .321. This is his first at bat against Axelrod, who has only faced the Royals once, and he got a win pitching out of the bullpen. It was just 2 innings. So there are only 4 Royals in the lineup tonight who have faced him, and nobody has more than 1 at bat. Had him reaching, and De Aza comes up in left field, and he makes the play. 1 down.
All right, the White Sox so far on the young seasons have made 18 errors. The Kansas City Royals 17, so they're neck and neck as far as making errors go. But Alex Rios, he's got a strong arm and right, and he's an athlete. He likes to glide to the ball, but he's kind of like Frenchie in a way, although he doesn't quite take as much pride in throwing runners out, but he's got a good, strong arm. Nice athlete.
And a strike to Alcides Escobar, who hit .448 against the White Sox last year and .347 in his career against Chicago. So he's kind of the offensive equivalent to Jeremy Guthrie. 1 ball, 1 strike.
He is, Escobar, tied overall with Gordon and Butler for homers.
And that's hit well. Wise, a good defensive center fielder, sprints in and makes the play. 2 down. Axelrod with a very interesting path to the big leagues. He was once a high round pick of the Padres, taken in the 3rd round, but was released and he went to the independent leagues. So a non-affiliated minor leagues, where the White Sox discovered him in 2009, and 2 years later he was in the big leagues. And he throws a strike to Billy Butler. Billy had 4 hits, drove in 2 against Tampa Bay. Well, there was a crack. It must have been the elbow guard, thankfully, on his left elbow. But nowadays, you just never know, especially when guys are getting hits with the ball hitting the knob of the bat.
No,
clearly hit his elbow.
Yeah, you're right. A lot of guys, especially when the elbow pads started coming out, they were huge. They were big, and guys would lean over the plate, and you know it would hit them, and they would take their base. Major League Baseball cracked down on the size of them, and look, what Billy has on there just protects his elbow. There's not any extra padding out there that's going to, allow him to get hit by a pitch. So that's why he wears that right on that elbow. And believe me, there's a bursa sac, they call it. And if you hit it, if that pitcher hits that ball, it swells with fluid immediately. And so it gets all swollen, and it can take you out of a game, maybe 2.
1-0 to Eric Hosmer. And he gets one through the left side. So at 2 outs and nobody on, the Royals get a hit batter and a base hit.
Okay, facing 6 foot, 195-pound Axelrod. He's not going to give you anything a lot out over the plate. Look at this. Okay, that's way outside, but Hosmer automatically realizes he's not going to give me anything really good, solid, and hard as far as velocity over the plate. I'm going to stretch my zone a little bit, and he did. He went to left field. Nice job there.
So Lorenzo Cain with 2 on and 2 out. And the Royals, even though they haven't quite done what they had hoped to do on offense at this point of the season, they have really excelled with runners in scoring position. In fact, they have the 3rd best batting average in baseball with runners in scoring position. And Lorenzo Cain is hitting .423. He has Butler out at second base with 2 down.
First 5 Royals in the lineup, all hitting well over 300 with the category you just mentioned.
Good swing, fouled it straight back, and it's 0-2.
Okay, that's the high fastball that he will try to get by guys. That's one of his best pitches. Yeah, after he tries to lull you to sleep with some breaking balls in the corner and stuff, he'll try to surprise you and raise the eye level. And Lorenzo Cain almost got that.
Just inside, 1 ball, 2 strikes. Lorenzo was not in the lineup on Thursday, and Ed Yost has said he wants to give Lorenzo at least 1 game off a week for the benefit of his legs, and that was a good day to have off. Cold, wet, windy. Blocked by Flowers. The runners hold, 2 balls and 2 strikes. As it turns out, since that game didn't go 5 innings, Lorenzo didn't really miss a game. And then the postponement last night, so he's got a couple of days off. And truthfully, 50 degrees with very little wind, the way things have been going for the Royals lately, really doesn't feel all that bad. And going the other way, Rios dives, and it's by him. So Cain drives in 2. That's his 2nd triple of the year. And the Royals take a 2-0 lead.
On contact, that ball looked like it was going to land where no glove could get it. However, I talked about the athleticism of Rios as he got closer to the ball. I'm thinking he might get this, but whenever you leave your feet and don't knock that ball down, that opens a floodgate for runners. And Cain sees it all right in front of him right there. He sees him miss, so he knows he's got 3 bags for sure. Nice clutch hitting to get the Royals on board first.
And Moustakas begins with an aggressive swing. Cain now has 16 RBIs, which is 2nd on the team, driving in Butler and Hosmer. And a little bit high and inside, 1-1 on Moustakas, who hit his first home run of the year in the Tampa Bay series and drove in 4 runs. He has a 5-game hitting streak.
Boy, you know, you give Guthrie a 2-run lead in the first. Really, it's something we haven't seen a lot by Royals, scoring in the first inning. I mean, that hasn't kept him from winning games. But here's Moose, his first 17. We were wondering what happened. But the last 5, he's starting to pick up some walks. He's seeing more pitches. He's becoming more confident. There's another hit batter.
Oh, wait a minute. Well, it's a dead ball. Cain was coming down. For a moment, Kerwin Danley was pointing to both bases. And I thought for a second he was going to bring Moustakas back and say that he didn't get out of the way. But he was pointing Cain back to third because it's a dead ball and pointing Moustakas to first.
First innings are always challenging. Sometimes they're not, but most of the time they are, because this pitcher's trying to find himself. Now, 2 hit batters in this first inning is not what Axelrod had in the playbook written up. He hadn't hit a batter all year.
See in the replay too, Moustakas snapped his head back thinking, what?
Just glanced off it. Any way to keep a rally going. Frenchie, a 280 hitter with a runner in scoring position.
He drove in 3 in the Tampa Bay series. And after the first pitch, his bat breaks in half, and that's a foul ball. So with 2 outs and nobody on, Butler hit by a pitch, Hosmer singles, Kane hits a 2-run triple, and now Moustakas hit by a pitch.
If you make contact with the baseball on the end of the bat, it does that most of the time. If you get jammed, that means a pitch not too far from your hands. That will also break the bat. That was off the end. We'll have to reload. Put a little bit of Manny Mota stick him on there. So they call that, named after a famous pinch hitter in his day, Manny Mota. Gives a little extra stick. Along with the pine tar rat.
Francoeur, like Moustakas, comes in tonight with a 5-game hitting streak. Down and away, 1 ball, 1 strike.
Getting hit by a pitch can be a good thing as long as it's not painful for you, because it doesn't count as an at-bat. It's like a walk.
Out of play. 1-2. You go by the numbers, this is a bad night for Chicago. I've already told you about their troubles with Jeremy Guthrie. And the White Sox have lost 11 of their last 15 games here in Kansas City, and they're down 2-0 in the first inning.
Well, you know how in our open we talked about Guthrie and the dominance he's had over the White Sox? Well, even their broadcasters had come up. Ken Harrelson, Ed Farmer. First thing I do is I say, hey, how you guys doing? What are our chances of winning tonight? They said, you got Guthrie going, right? We don't like our chances.
Lifted into left field. And De Aza makes the play to end the inning. A 2-out rally. And it begins with Butler being hit by a pitch. 2 batters later, Lorenzo Cain hits a 2-run triple.
Leg it out. Low Cain.
And if you vote in tonight's Unlimited Answers poll, you can enter for a chance to win 2 Crown Club tickets to a future game, courtesy of Sprint. Which below 500 team will finish with the best record? That's a good question.
It is.
Didn't expect all 4 of those teams, or any of those 4 teams, to be below 500 at this point. As Adam Dunn hits one up into the clouds, and Lorenzo Cain brings it down. 2 pitches, 1 out for Guthrie in the second inning.
Well, Ryan, I think with Tampa Bay's pitching staff, they're going to end up with a better record. That's just my opinion early. The Angels don't have a lot of pitching. Weaver's still out. Blue Jays, they got pitching issues too. Dickey can't win a game. I don't know.
11 games under 500 already. Toronto Blue Jays. So Guthrie has retired the first 4. And now Paul Konerko. Good run on that fastball. Konerko's the DH tonight. Adam Dunn plays at first. And the Royals really pitched him well in Chicago. He was just 1 for 12 without an RBI. In fact, the Royals really pitched the middle of the White Sox order well. The combination of Rios, Dunn, and Konerko, the 3, 4, and 5 hitters, drove in only 1 run. And going the other way for a base hit, Frank Coeur hustles over to hold him to a single. And the White Sox have their first base runner. And now Connor Gillespie, who is from Omaha and went to Wichita State, and he's get some playing time because Gordon Beckham, White Sox regular second baseman, is out with a broken hand. So Keppinger has moved from third to second. And Gillespie getting a chance to play at third, and he's playing well. He's hit in 6 in a row.
This kid, he's a rookie, and he's leading. He's first in hits in the rookie category with 22, homers with 3, slugging percentage, and 7 extra base hits.
2-0. One of the keys for Chicago last year when they got off to a great start, they had no regulars on the disabled list to begin the year. Now, here's who's on the DL now. 2 starters, 2 important starters. Gavin Floyd, who might need surgery. John Danks coming back from surgery. Gordon Beckham and Diane Viciedo are regulars in the lineup. They're on the disabled list. And Moustakas straddling the line makes a fair ball catch to get Gillespie, and 2 down in the second inning.
Yeah, that's one thing before the season that you don't plan on, but you do try to find depth behind these guys because you just never know. You know they're going to creep up at some particular point, but to have them all early in the season like that doesn't help the White Sox very much at all. Now, when it comes to Beckham, it's a wrist. There's Jeff Manto, their hitting coach. It's a hamate bone, so it's the bone right above the wrist, and that's a bone it's a hook bone, and sometimes holding your hand at the bottom of the barrel, like at the bottom of the knob, you turn it and it breaks it. So that's unfortunate for him. He'll be out for a few more weeks.
Alexei Ramirez, the runner at first, 2 down. 1 ball and 1 strike. And of all the White Sox hitters who have had trouble with Guthrie, Ramirez has had the most trouble. 30 at bats, 3 hits. On the ground to Getz, who was once the double play partner of Ramirez. He flips over to Hosmer, and the White Sox are scoreless in the second. 2-0 Royals at Kauffman Stadium. Rios will lead off the bottom of the second inning. And a reminder, as you enjoy a cold one, to look forward to Miller Time later in tonight's game, brought to you by Miller Lite. Royals scoring 2 in the bottom of the first. After 2 were out and nobody on. 4 straight reached. And Lorenzo Cain had a 2-run triple. Strike at the knees, 0-1. And Perez going the other way. Rios got a good read and a good jump, and he makes the play. 1 down.
Watching Salvador Perez take ground balls at shortstop during batting practice is really neat to see, because he's got such great hands. He could probably play shortstop. He was giving Escobar a hard time when they were playing catch on the side in front of me, and he was looking at me saying, look, I could play shortstop, but Esky couldn't catch. And Esky's going, oh, no, I could too. I could. And I said, yeah, until you take one off of your mask and it rings your bell. But Salvi's hands are unbelievable. He reminded me of the big cat Andres Galarraga, famous player from Venezuela. And I brought the cat's name up to Salvi, and Salvi said, oh, he was my hero when I grew up. I wanted to be like him. The big cat. He could move. They're similar in size.
Still 0-2 on Getz. And that's why he had that nickname, right? Because despite being as big as he was, he didn't move around like a big guy.
Grande Gato. Big cat. Series before that, the Rays were in town. Ned says, you know what? I always wanted to play against my former team, so I'm going to let Elliot Johnson play second. So he let him play the entire series. Now Getz is back out there, and it's Getz's turn against his former team.
And 2 good swings for the Royals in this inning. Getz down in the count as a solid base hit to right field. 1 on, 1 out. Alex Gordon comes to the plate, and we'll take a look at tonight's AT U-verse rewind, and we go back to Game 2 of the season in Chicago.
Man, you hardly ever take your eye off the ball for as long as Gordon did on that one, just to see where he was.
Oh. And that ended up being a 2-run home run from Diane Viciedo, who is now on the disabled list. Ball 1 to Alex. He flied to left in the first inning.
Remember how cold it was that day. And then after the game, Alex said, you know, I would have had that if the weather was hot. My glove would have been a lot more flexible, and it would have been loose. It would have stuck in there. I would have had that. But when it's cold, leather gets hard.
Getz started to go and stopped. And Alex takes a strike, 1-1. And now Getz with a little bigger lead over at first. And that caught Axelrod's attention.
Getz, he doesn't have a bag yet. I thought he would
doesn't have an attempt yet. Notice the same thing, 0 for 0.
He was awfully active in that first week of the season, though. But look up there, you don't have a bag.
He's running. And again, Alex hits it in the air to the left side. De Aza wants it and makes the play, and Getz is back to first, 2 down. Well, fans, you've known for years that StubHub is a great place to find the seats you want to see the Royals in person. Now they've added StubHub fan rewards. You can earn a little extra with your tickets, like seat upgrades. So head to StubHub and get your Royals tickets today.
StubHub.
I don't even have to cue you anymore. Escobar hits a shot past Dunn. Rios is on it quickly, and they were playing Escobar the other way. So Getz goes first to third. And Escobar, who lost a hit in the first inning on a lineout, is 1 for 2.
He's a machine when it comes to any ball that's thrown in the middle away on the dish. He waits and he knows how to hold his hands, the barrel of the bat, to keep it up so he doesn't pop that ball up. He stays on top, but he waits. That's the key to going to the opposite field. Same swing as when you pull it, but you wait longer, especially when it's located away. Now let's see if Billy can revenge that hit by a pitch in the first inning from Axelrod and actually drive him in a run, maybe more.
Outside ball 1. I'm looking at the defense, and it's interesting. You know, Billy's been around long enough where you figure the league has a pretty good idea with him. Most teams play him straight up to the other way. Not the White Sox in the same division. They're going to play him to pull. That is a big, wide open hole on the right side.
Yeah,
Billy Butler.
you know what? The reason they're playing him to pull and leaving all these lanes open here, I mean, these big lanes open, is because when you have a guy that's a soft tosser, what they would say Axelrod was, that's another term used in baseball, they're thinking Billy's going to be out ahead of him and pull it. So they're hoping on the ground he'll hit that way to pull the ball.
He's going to hit a ground ball base hit into right field.
You give him that much lane, those many lanes, he sees that. He's a very smart hitter.
And he's really spread out his hits. Looking at those last numbers. 2-1. And that rally in the first inning started when Billy was hit by the pitch right on that left elbow pad. You could hear it crack all the way up here. Hosmer followed with a single. Kane hit a 2-run triple. And then Axelrod hit another batter, hit Mike Moustakas on the foot. And Axelrod got out of the first, giving up just the 2 runs and leaving 2 on base. Just outside. It's interesting. They want him to pull the ball, but they're pitching him away.
You know, sometimes it works. You know, the defensive meetings before the game, they go over those before they even mention them to the defense with the pitching coach. So they kind of try to get on the same page, but sometimes it just doesn't work that way. You take a chance.
Escobar runs. Billy swings and misses for a full count. And now Escobar is 7 for 7 in stolen base attempts. And now there's 2 out there for Billy with runners in scoring position.
Okay, Axelrod fooled him once, but can you fool him twice? I don't know. Billy knows in the back of his mind maybe he'll try to throw another big breaking ball there. And now Dunn closes that hole in between the first and second baseman by coming way off the bag there. He's not holding on Escobar anymore.
And he lines it to right, and Rios makes the play. So the Royals strand 2, and at the end of 2, the Royals lead the White Sox 2-0. Baseball is brought to you by Panera Bread. Try pasta the Panera way. Live consciously, eat deliciously. And by Ford. See the new F-150 at your Midwest Ford dealer today. Jeremy Guthrie a little quick here in the top of the third. Billy Butler bobblehead night to the first 10,000 fans, courtesy of Sprint. As Flowers rolls it to the third base side, Moustakas bare hand and throws a strike to Hosmer.
Guthrie relying on that defense at times. Does a majority of the work himself, but sure is nice when you have good hands, people like that behind you. Okay, you make that play, left foot, throw off your right. Got a little leverage there. Nice ball. Billy Butler, man, it's his night. I can't believe he didn't get a hit knocking a couple runs his last at bat, Ryan.
Surely.
He's got to be able to do something on his night. I mean, he almost did. He's trying to get a hit, but you can't control it. But certainly on your bobblehead night, you got to do something like that for the people. It's all for the people.
Still early. We'll have another shot or two. Wise went around, no balls, 2 strikes. And of course, when it is a bobblehead night, and in particular for Billy Butler, they arrive early. That's an hour and 40 minutes before the game, and they're lined up.
Yeah. Billy's outstanding. First 10,000. Hey, are we going to get to go out there and give away items like we did last year?
Escobar has to hurry. In the dirt. Hosmer saves an error. They got good plays from Moustakas, Escobar, and Hosmer for the first 2 outs of the third.
All right, Escobar says, Moose, you can barehand one, so can I. Look at that focus. He's shuffling his feet as he's catching that ball, and Hosmer says, I got that with no dig. Look at him. He's watched it in his hand. He didn't pull his head away and try to look at first because he might have dropped the ball. You got to watch that all the way just like he does. And shows you every night.
And now De Aza fouls it back. So the left side of the infield in this inning doesn't need a glove. Just put the glove down. Going to go bare hand here in the third. A little high, 1-1. De Aza grounded out to first. His first time up. Two and one. In the air to center. Kane makes a play. 3 scoreless innings for Guthrie. And with the first 2 outs, help from his defense.
Why even bring your glove to the yard? You don't need it.
As an operating engineer for Holiday Sand and Gravel, Mike Friesian, sorry we don't have a pronunciation guide, Mike began volunteering at St. James Place, which is operated by the Bishop Sullivan Center. A few days every week, Mike volunteers in the food pantry and washes dishes on Thursday nights in the community kitchen. And if Bishop Sullivan Center rings a bell, that's the program that Billy Butler and his wife Katie give to with Billy's Hit It a Ton program. Hosmer, that's a fair ball into the left field corner, and now it skips away from De Aza, and Hosmer is going to try for 3. He is in there with a head first slide.
Okay, again, second at bat in a row. Hosmer shortened up his swing going to left field. Now, that one was over the middle of the plate. Looked like he's trying to shoot the ball that way. As he left the box, he wasn't quite sure if that was going to go foul or not. He kind of watched it for the first few steps, and then he put her in gear. He says, you know what, that's going to fall, and I got a chance. Now, had he not gotten a triple out of that, we might have said that's the reason why. But he ended up getting it anyway by putting on those afterburners.
2 triples for the Royals in the first 3 innings. Kane's triple drove in the 2 runs, and now he bats with the infield in halfway. And Hosmer at third. And Lorenzo jumps on the first pitch and almost hit Hosmer on the foot. 0-1.
Okay, the corners can be tricky here at the K. Sometimes if you're not used to playing it, but you know, this ball here, he just misplayed it. That's all there is to it. It wasn't, the wall didn't trick him or anything like that. The ball stayed down. He had his glove up. And just like an infielder, he wasn't able to glove it.
Let me ask you this. Is that a triple in your mind, or is that a double and an error?
I'm going double and an error on that. After seeing the replay there, the way the ball played him.
Inside, 2-1 on Kane.
Or the way he played the ball.
Well, for now, it's a triple, and Hosmer's first. And his first since July of last season. 2-1 on Kane. And a wrinkle in that pitch. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
A healthy Lorenzo Cain, a healthy Salvador Perez. 2 of the things the Royals didn't have last season. And both of those guys are making a difference.
Again inside. 3-2. So he's been productive with a runner at third, less than 2 outs, coming through 4 out of 6 times. Into right field, shallow. Rios coming up. Got a pretty good head of steam behind him, and now a short throw. So Hosmer has to hold at third, 1 out. And now Moustakas, who was hit on the foot, his right foot, with 2 outs in the first inning.
It's May 4th, and he's over the Mendoza mark at 200. He wants to keep it that way.
And that's in the air to right field and not very deep. And again, Hosmer is just going to try and force a throw. 2 down.
That spot's not working. Moose should have known that. He just saw the hitter before him hit one there. If he gets up on that ball just a little bit, he could have had a homer. I mean, I'll tell you how close it was for putting one in the seats.
Francoeur flied to left his first time up. Well, the Royals did it the hard way in the first inning with 2 outs and nobody on. They scored 2 runs, and now in the third. A runner at third and nobody out. And Axelrod has gotten 2 fly balls to right. Here's our Toyota League leaders for tonight. To this next pitch from Axelrod. And looking at the work that the Royals have done this year with runners in scoring position. And now 2-0. Leading the league at .327. And in the last 2 games of the Tampa Bay series, they were much better than .327. They hit .455 with runners in scoring position. And now 3-0 on Francoeur. Those are the individual leaders. Alex Gordon is first, and Lorenzo Cain is 7th. 4-pitch walk to Francoeur. So Axelrod didn't want to give in to him, and instead is going to take his chances with Salvador Perez.
Frenchie wanted to make sure that I gave a shout out to his mom and dad, Dave and Karen, for their happy anniversary, the 39th. They're in Panama City, Florida, watching the Royals, and Frenchie says, I'd like to do something special for him. And I don't think he was meaning that walk right there. But he's thinking about him. He said, God bless Karen, my mother, for putting up with Dave and me. How has she done it? That's what he said. I said, can I tell him that? He goes, yeah, you tell him that. She's the greatest mom ever.
It would be hard to believe that with a sense of humor like Francoeur's, that doesn't run in the family.
Way to go, Dave and Karen, especially Karen. Hope Frenchie can do something great. Although we know you guys are team players, you'll take a win.
Pitching coach Don Cooper went out to have a short visit with Axelrod and catcher Tyler Flowers. And now first and third for Salvador Perez. He lined to right first time up on a pitch that may not have been a strike, but it's nothing new for Perez. His ability to reach out over the plate and over the plate and hit the ball hard the other way.
Good bad ball hitter.
Left center field. Long run for Wise, and he will catch up to it and end the inning. So leadoff triple, but Axelrod pitches his way out of it. And at the end of 3, it's the Royals leading the White Sox 2-0. Given up 1 hit so far. He hasn't thrown more than 11 pitches in any inning. So the White Sox again just have to continue to as they say in the game, tip their helmet. They say tip your cap, but if you're hitting, you have to tip your helmet. But he's been so good, they might want to try, I don't know, maybe curtsy to him.
Oh, well, I don't know if too many of those guys have the courage to curtsy, but lots of time you're not going to let the guy know.
Well, let's take a Mazda game break, and if you're wondering how to do that, and if a pitcher is really tough on you like Randy Johnson is to Rex Hudler, well then...
Oh, why'd you guys have to do that? Look, now, there's a story behind that, and we don't have time to go into that either. But that was not a, hey, you know what? You're a really good pitcher.
You were tipping your helmet and doing a curtsy. I mean, that's the ultimate sign of respect.
I was making a gesture towards him. I don't want to offend any women out there, but take your skirt off, Randy. Let's go. Give me something straight to hit.
Because you literally called him out, right, during that at-bat?
He called me out. No, actually, he said slider after I fouled the first 2 pitches back. And I said, throw me a fastball belt high, see how far I hit it. And he went up there and he shook. And when he shook, I was toast. I'm going, oh no, what's he going to throw now? And he threw that nasty. You saw that pitch? I could barely see it.
And you guys go way back to being teammates with the Expos, right?
That's right. It's embarrassing.
Not for us, it isn't.
Swanee's up here laughing at me. Okay.
Escobar in shallow center field. Rios is 0 for 2. So 2 up, 2 down. And the White Sox have yet to get the leadoff man on against Guthrie to get something going in the inning. And now Adam Dunn. And the Royals will shift the infield over to the right side against Dunn, who takes a strike.
Pull the shift. You know that little grass right there, the grass and the dirt where it comes together? You either play way in back of that or in front of it. Because sometimes that, when you play a shift like that, can hit that lip, although this field is manicured as good as you can manicure a field. Sometimes it hits that lip and you'll miss it.
1-2 on Dunn.
Speaking
I made the mistake early in my Royals broadcast career referring to the lip of the grass here at Kauffman Stadium. So,
look, you notice how I said
that's just where the dirt meets the grass.
It is, but you call that, no matter here or in Japan, you call it that's the lip. That's where the grass and the dirt come together. And I said, it is so well manicured here. There are no bad hops there, but there can be a mental block for a fielder if that ball gets on it.
Good save. 3-2 on Dunn.
Trevor, all the love we given those guys the last few games for all the hard work they've been doing, he's not going to come down on me on that. Now, he did correct my pronunciation on the diamond.
Dunn takes a very close pitch, and he will walk. And that's Guthrie's first. The fans thought it was a strike. And it just missed.
I was calling the substance they were putting on the dirt, Diamond Dry. It's actually called Diamond Pro.
Well, it used to be called Diamond Dry, and then it was called Diamond Dust.
Right. It's not called that anymore. You're old like me, sometimes you're stuck on the old terms, and Trevor was quick to correct me on that. But do they hear all the 10,000 great things we said about him?
They do. Right center field, that's wide open, and will drop between Kane and Francoeur. Dunn does not run well, so he's going to be held at 30. Almost went through the stop sign. Joe McEwing, third base coach, was holding him, but Dunn had gone through the bag and then had to stop very late. So the Royals benefited there from a lack of foot speed on the bases.
Yeah, that ball left his bat, and I looked up and I said, that's going to fall for sure to myself because there's nobody near it. I mean, that ball was perfectly placed. Now, Dunn, the big fella, look at him. He says, man, once I get going, don't try to stop me. It's hard to stop. Now, Getzy, when he caught that ball coming in, he looked at third but didn't want to take a chance of throwing the ball away and getting it.
So it's Connor Gillespie who popped to third in the second inning. Former Wichita State Shocker was drafted by the Giants in '08. In between the first and second round. Strike over the outside. The White Sox trying to accomplish what the Royals did in the first inning, scoring after 2 outs and nobody on. Dunn walked, Konerko doubled. Gillespie was really mixed up with that pitch. Didn't take a very good swing at it, and it was a very unhittable pitch.
Okay, excellent changeup. Stayed down low, fooled if he was guessing. As we start to see a few little raindrops start to fall. Haven't seen any of those this afternoon.
Still 0-2. All that success that Guthrie has had against the White Sox since becoming a Royal has not included Connor Gillespie since his first at bat against Guthrie. So this is his longest inning, and it's only 16 pitches. 9 in the first, 10 in the second, 10 in the third. Started to go. No appeal. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Now, as good as the Royals have been with runners in scoring position, the White Sox have been equally as bad. Third lowest in the major leagues, hitting below 200 with runners in scoring position. So they have been feeling the heat in a situation like these. 2 balls and 2 strikes. And we mentioned in the first inning that White Sox were second in the bottom in the league in team batting average, at the very bottom in runs scored, and at the very bottom in on base percentage. Got it with a hard slider down and in. So that number goes down even more as Jeremy Guthrie continues to thrive against the White Sox.
Now you see it, and now he doesn't.
because of the weather, but so was the Royals Charities broadcast auction. That was scheduled for tonight. That has been rescheduled for June 7th. The Royals will be hosting the Astros, and we'll be out at Rivals updating the progress on the bids for some great items. And with more time between now and then, who knows? They might be adding to the item list. So stay connected to Royals.com for details. Lorenzo Cain hit a 2-run triple in the first inning. And that's all the offense so far tonight as Chris Getz hits it just foul off of first base. And down, no balls and 2 strikes. Getz was down 1-2 in the second inning when he singled to right. Went to third on a base hit from Escobar. And stroked to right field. Went down and got a low pitch. And Rios backs up to make the play. And it has not been an easy night at all for Dylan Axelrod. Royals have had base runners all over the place. Royals have 5 hits. Axelrod has walked 1 and hit 2. So 8 base runners in 3 1/3 innings. But the Royals have stranded 6. So he's pitched well with men on base. And especially with men in scoring position. Ball 1 to Alex, who has flied to left twice. Center field, medium deep. Playable for Dwayne Wise. 2 down. And we'll take a look at tonight's AT trivia question. Let's see what associate producer Al Broughton has for us tonight. Who is the Royals' all-time career batting average leader with runners in scoring position? Could it be that easy?
Yeah, so that leaves one guess for sure, and then maybe a couple others.
Let's just start with George.
Okay.
All right.
Then I'm going with Hal McRae.
Okay. 2-0 on Escobar, who is singled and lined to center. There's the George Brett statue. But I've been told we're both wrong. It is neither Hal nor George. Nafi Perez. No? Why is everybody looking at me like that?
Mike Sweeney.
Check swing, and that's a strike. 2-2 on Escobar. Two good swings so far for Escobar. He is lined to center, lost a hit on a nice play by Wise, and then single to right. We told you in the first inning he hit .448 against the White Sox last year, and now has a full count with Billy Butler on deck. Tough pitch, but he goes down and gets it, but Rios is there. So he has a base hit and 2 lineouts. And for Axelrod, that's his first 1-2-3 inning.
Keep it away from that guy, Rios.
Hill, and anytime you face the White Sox, one of the keys is keeping them in the park. And they have been at it with the home runs again this year. 35% of their runs have been scored via the home run. That's the highest in baseball. And interesting, guys, because Toronto is next at 34%. Seattle is in that mix at 30%. Those three teams right there have been the lowest scoring teams per game in baseball. Why is this happening with the White Sox? Really a station-to-station team, just like in the past. But a couple of the injuries that you mentioned with Gordon Beckham and Viciedo, and they've been hoping for maybe a hit-and-run type of hitter in Keppinger. He's not hitting. Only have a couple of guys that won't clog the bases in Beaza and Rios. How about this? 35% on the home run percentage. Royals at 14% per game, or per runs, but they have a higher slugging percentage.
Ramirez hits it to Escobar, who throws low, and that's picked by Hosmer, and Alexei Ramirez is out number one. Well, let's look at some more numbers pertaining to the White Sox on offense so far this year. They are 12-15 overall. Last in walks, which makes them last in on-base percentage. And that's in the major leagues. They are last in the American League in runs scored. And hitting .237 as a team. And Tyler Flowers hits it to the middle. Escobar again in the dirt, and once again saved by Hosmer.
All right, Eric Hosmer, he's a brilliant first baseman. Solid glove, big target. Ball came up on Escobar, by the way. Look how he stays down low. And when any ball he digs, he puts that left foot on the base, and he bends his knee, and he stays down lower. That allows him to be able to see the hop and stay down low to the ball and make that dig like he does 9 out of 10 times.
And Guthrie throws a strike to Wise, who grounded to short in the third.
If you're an infielder, you love a guy like Hosmer. You can just throw it. If it's high, he's tall enough, he can get up and get it. Slow, he picks it. You know, a lot of people last year when he was struggling offensively were wondering when they're going to send him down. Well, that doesn't help. I mean, he's so good off with his glove. You got to have him in there.
That's a 6-pitch inning for Guthrie. And the White Sox are scoreless against him in 5 innings. 2-0 Royals. Thoroughbred Ford. For the best deals on Ford cars and trucks, visit thoroughbredford.com. 2-0 Royals as we go to the bottom of the 5th inning. Billy Butler, Eric Hosmer, and Lorenzo Cain coming up on Billy Butler bobblehead night. he hits it on the ground to third. Easy play for Gillespie, who throws high. But Adam Dunn is very tall, so not a difficult play for him. And Billy is 0 for 2. He scored one of the 2 runs in the first inning. All right, let's answer our AT&T trivia question. Who is the Royals' all-time career batting average leader with runners in scoring position?
Mike Sweeney. Are you kidding? He's the greatest.
330.
Wow. Talk about a money man.
299 career batting average overall, but 330 with runners in scoring position.
Swing dog.
A lot of more recent players than players from the glory years. George Brett 5th on that list. Carlos Beltran, Billy Butler, David DeJesus, all trailing Mike Sweeney. Hosmer has tripled and singled. Over the mound, and Ramirez tried to grab it with his bare hand, and that should be a hit, and would give Eric Hosmer a 3-for-3 night.
Hosmer's going good. Okay, 1, 2. When it bounces 2, sometimes 3 times, you got a good chance to beat that out. I don't even know if Alexi would have thrown him out. That's why they call that a do or die.
And now Lorenzo Cain, who drove in the 2 runs in the first inning, and that came with 2 outs and nobody on. Billy Butler was hit by a pitch. Hosmer singled, and then Cain tripled on a diving miss in right field by Rios. So Lorenzo is now driven in 16, tying in with Billy Butler for second on the Royals. Alex Gordon leads the team with 18 driven in. Hosmer trying to get a walking lead and then started to go and stopped. Cain took high and inside. 1 ball and no strikes. You can't blame teams if they would lose focus with Hosmer over at first base when he gets on. You don't figure the most big first basemen are going to run, and he will give many pitchers a false sense of security where he'll take a very short lead and then he goes into that walking lead. Hosmer stole 16 bases last year, was only thrown out once, and he's 2 for 2 this year.
He gets good takeaways on that walking lead.
Big swing by Cain. 1-2. And Hosmer, when he gets on the bases, he's not just thinking about stealing second, he'll steal third. To Dunn. And now Hosmer will try and get into a rundown. And Axelrod comes over from the mound to tag him out. So the inning is over. That is a 3-6-1 reverse double play, and the Royals send just 3 to the plate in the 5th. Game 2 is tomorrow. It's Cinco de Mayo. And our Viva Los Royals celebration. We hope you'll join us before the game for singing and dancing at the Outfield Experience, as well as a salsa contest featuring local Mexican restaurants showcasing their best recipes. And the first 10,000 fans get a Royals cooler, courtesy of Sprint. That's tomorrow at 1:10 as Jeremy Guthrie goes back to work and throws a strike to Alejandro De Aza. Another successful start so far as we welcome in Royals Hall of Famer Jeff Montgomery for Guthrie against the White Sox. But tonight, a lot of real quick outs and quick innings.
He's been throwing strikes, and I think that's really been a key for him. Since he came over here, very nice.
Throwing strikes everywhere.
Throwing strikes everywhere. Filled his position. We talked during his last start how he's such a complete player. Fills his position well, holds runners well, really complete pitcher, and we're seeing that tonight. But I think 57, 58 pitches on the evening. 5+ innings already, so doing a great job and getting his guys in and hopefully giving them a chance to score some runs.
Now, Monty, I asked Hud at the top of the broadcast, it's a good pitcher. I mean, he's pitched well for the Royals. And is it a coincidence that he just happens to do his best work against Chicago, or after a while is there a little psychology involved on both sides?
I would say there's a little psychology involved. I always knew the guys that own me and the teams that own me. I'm sure the teams have the same feeling.
Keppinger hits it high and deep, but he was out in front, so he pulls it foul. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Monty, did any hitter ever curtsy to you?
Not while I was watching. So I'm not aware of anyone that did. I guess I would have certainly took that as a tremendous compliment.
Now Keppinger goes the other way. Frank Coor moves toward the line. And there are 2 down. All right, let's take a look at tonight's Monty's moment.
Well, we'll talk a little bit about what Jeremy Guthrie did in the 4th inning against Connor Gillespie. Got to hit 2 strikes. Now he's got 2 guys on base, 2 guys in scoring position. So a lot of times as a pitcher, you want to rely on your defense and maybe let the hitters get themselves out. But at times, you have to reach back for a little more and get the batter out yourself. And that's exactly what Jeremy Guthrie did to end that 4th inning.
And now a strike to Alex Rios. Rios has flied to center and popped to short. And the movement, that pitch there, I mean, he's had great run on his fastball.
Really established that early in the game. Maybe the first pitch out of the gate. Comes in and gets that nice life on the 2-seamer, running back in over the plate.
On that pitch there, it's easy for the right-hander to give up on it.
Well, if he was aiming for that MLB logo on the right, he's still throwing strikes.
Yep, that got away from him.
Hey, look at the MLB on the right. Bullseye.
Bingo.
Hit the corner.
See, right on the corner of that plate there.
Sometimes as a pitcher, you get a little distracted.
Now, I've asked this question many times. For somebody, remember when Mike McDougal was a closer? Now, Guthrie's not known as a wild guy, but when a guy's really feeling it, I always wondered, why doesn't a guy just throw it up against a screen every now and then, just to get the hitter a little uncomfortable in the box,
I remember the All-Star game in '93. Randy Johnson did it at John Kruk.
Hosmer spins around, gets it to Guthrie, who gets to the bag, and just 9 pitches to get the White Sox in the 6th. Only 67 pitches total, and he's retired the last 7. 2-0 Royals. Well, as far as relationships go, baseball relationships go, this has been a match made in heaven. Dave Eiland and Jeremy Guthrie coming to the Royals the same year.
It was real great last July when Guthrie came over and Dave Eiland was able to work out a few of his mechanical difficulties, got him on track, and ends up landing him a 3-year contract here in Kansas City.
Yeah, he did. Before Eiland was here, he was with the Yankees for several years, and he used to watch Guthrie, and he said, you know, I could fix him if he needed to be fixed. And he went out to Colorado, and then they consummated the deal between Sanchez and Guthrie came over here, and Dave said, hey, look, I've been wanting to have a little hands-on approach with you.
You got it, Hud? No. Just out of his reach. Our Sonic Slam Inning contestant is Raymond Arroyo from Kansas City, Missouri. And if the Royals hit a home run in this inning, Raymond wins $200. A grand slam out of the park is worth $25,000 from Sonic and the Royals. Look out. I think that ball hit an empty seat, which is a good thing. 1-2 on Moustakas, who was hit by a pitch in the first inning and then flied to right in the third. Keppinger goes to the hole on the right side and throws out Moose. 1 down.
Look at that heater down there. That heater is red hot. It's blazing. Anybody gets a little cool, they can go stand over there by that baby. That'll warm you up in a heartbeat.
Unfortunately, those heaters have been working overtime, not just in the games, but in the month they're working in.
You're right.
And now a strike to Francoeur. Hud was saying early in the game that Axelrod is one of those guys. He's not really going to put any fear into a hitter. If anything, he's going to frustrate a hitter. I mean, they feel like they just miss him all game.
I would say he would be comparable to our Bruce Chen, a guy that doesn't overpower. In fact, during our pregame today, Joel and I were describing him as if he were a left-hander, they would call him a crafty lefty. But since he's righty, you can't call him that.
It's hit well to right field. And Rios, who's been all over the place tonight, makes a nice running, leaping play. And Francoeur is the second out.
Okay, couldn't find a hole out there. I told you earlier, don't hit it to him anymore. They got one by him early. But since then, he's been money. Frenchie's trying to get a big hit for his mom and dad who are watching in Panama City, Florida on their 39th anniversary. He's got nothing so far to show for it. He's got a walk. And on Billy's bobblehead, nothing.
Perez has a 2-out base hit. And the Royals have had at least one hit in every inning but one tonight against Dylan Axelrod. So Perez is 1 for 3. And now Chris Getz. Getz is single to right and he is lined to right. Oh, 0-1. Good pitch over the inside. 0-2. We were talking about some of the injuries to the White Sox in the first month of the season, in particular their starting rotation. John Danks, Gavin Floyd on the DL, and then Jake Peavy the other night. He was scratched because of back spasms, so that gave the White Sox a scare. But he is now scheduled to pitch on Monday. That's the makeup game from the rainout last night. And reading that one of the options right now for Gavin Floyd is surgery on his right elbow.
Certainly the Royals fans remember the injuries that Royals players were hit with last year starting in spring training, and a couple of Tommy John surgeries here. But going back the year before, the Royals were so fortunate, almost no injury. So it just seems like those come in bunches, almost like hits.
Left center field and shallow. Dwayne Wise makes the play with 2 hands. We played 6. And the Royals with 2 runs in the first inning. That's all the offense we've seen tonight. Answers question. 48% think that the team that is currently below 500 will finish with the best record. Only 7% think the Blue Jays will turn things around. 10% for the White Sox. 35% for the Angels, who aren't, both the Angels and the Blue Jays aren't getting a whole lot of return on their investment.
No, and I think when they signed R.A. Dickey and the trades they made for those respective players, everyone just almost penciled them into postseason. But R.A. Dickey in particular has not gotten it done for them.
The Angels lost again today to Baltimore. 5-4. And when you invest heavily in offensive players, you know, that's good, but it's not what makes the game go around. Starting pitching does.
And we've seen teams do what the Angels have done, and that is the starting pitching isn't quite what they want, so they try and compensate with more offense. I've yet to see that work. Now, we've seen good to solid starting pitching benefit from more offense, but we haven't seen bad starting pitching or below average starting pitching benefit from more offense. At least I haven't.
Well, going out there every night with a chance to win a game is a huge confidence builder for guys when they step in the batter's box, because a guy that, like a James Shields here, takes a mound, or the way that Jeremy Guthrie is throwing the ball for the Royals, or Irvin Santana, it's just such a boost for everybody on the whole squad.
Tough time of night to find the ball, but Alex is on it and retires Adam Dunn, who is 0 for 2 with a walk. And now Guthrie has retired 8 in a row. The Royals will be in town for Mother's Day. That's Sunday, May 12th, so put it on your calendar if you haven't already. It's the Royals and the Yankees at 1:10. And moms, the gifts are on us. The first 10,000 ladies through the gates will receive a blue scarf presented by Diet Pepsi. Here's an example of that scarf. So give your mom the royal treatment, a beautiful Kauffman Stadium experience, and the free scarf. Royals.com, 1-800-6-ROYALS for tickets. 1-1 on Paul Konerko. There you go. Now, how do you, let's get some, what kind of scarf is that, Monty?
Pashmina?
Pashmina? Okay.
Wow.
Should I have known? Did you know what a pashmina scarf is?
He's a fabric doctor on the side.
I guess so. Now, Dina Blevins, the lovely daughter of former Royal John Wathen, is our stage manager tonight. Dina, pashmina scarf. You know what that means? No? Okay. All right. That makes me feel better. I saw it and I didn't want to go there because I didn't know quite how to pronounce it.
Monty knew, but Dina didn't.
Yeah. Konerko into left field. And Alex brings that one down. First time Konerko has been retired. And there are 2 outs in the 7th inning. Under a gray pashmina sky.
Makes me wonder if Monty has seen some pashmina scarves on his bill in the past, on his credit card bill.
Well, Rex, my wife Tina loves scarves, so we have our share.
Nice play by Getz. Gillespie is out. So are the White Sox in order again. Jeremy Guthrie has retired the last 10. And the White Sox are without a base runner since the 4th inning. 2-0 Royals.
Check. Royals on top 2-0. Panera takes us around the American League. Phil Hughes 8 scoreless as the Yankees win it. Cleveland 6 straight in a row as they're all over Minnesota. Toronto now 11 games under 500. Baltimore wins it in extra innings. LA 8 games under 500. Detroit is blanking Houston right now. Miguel Cabrera going deep. Let's take a look at our Mazda game break. Back to that Cleveland game, and Nick Swisher going deep for his 3rd of the year. Scott Kazmir, by the way, 8 innings, 2 earned runs as he gets the win, and the Indians are rolling. Guys, back to you, and I'll just say that Mrs. Montgomery and Mrs. Goldberg, I don't know if they were shopping together in Boston, but Susan likes the pashmina too.
Well, you learn something new every day. Well, moms are going to get a free one on Mother's Day with a Royals logo on it. Alex has flied out 3 times. And maybe 4, unless it's caught on the infield. And it's Gillespie. So I think Alex would subscribe to the theory of, facing Axelrod, you can have a comfortable 0 for 4. I'll bet all 4 at-bats, he's felt like he just missed him.
Well, he needs to pull out this hit it again. That's what you call taking the knob of the bat right to the ball. Base hit.
Because that literally is what some hitters try and do. Lead with the knob of the bat.
I've never seen it before.
So Alex took it a step further. Escobar has hit the ball hard all night. Rios makes the play. That's the 3rd time he has lined to the outfield. So he's 1 for 4. He could easily be 4 for 4. So Axelrod has really hung in there. The 2 outs and nobody on in the first inning. He hit Billy Butler, and that led to 2 runs when Hosmer followed with a single. Kane hit a 2-run triple. The Royals had a scoring opportunity in the third after Hosmer opened the inning with a triple, but they didn't score. So he has hardly dominated the Royals, but he's made his pitches, and especially with men on base.
8 fly ball outs. Most of those have been to Rios.
That's below the knees. 1 ball, 1 strike. Well, with the way Guthrie's going, this might be Billy's last shot to get a base hit on his bobblehead night.
Make it a good one, Billy.
2-1. Two and 2.
The 14 fly ball outs as a whole the Royals have hit. 8 of those have been to Rios. Don't hit it to him anymore.
And a soft liner out to short. And Ramirez ran right by it. May have lost it up against the scoreboard or the lights, but he just missed it.
I don't know if that ball was knuckling or not. Sometimes you square up a ball so squarely that the ball knuckles to the infielder, and he overplayed it. Whoops, I forgot something.
So it's an error on Ramirez, and now Eric Hosmer goes for his 4th hit of the game. He singled and scored in the first inning. Tripled leading off the third. The Royals would like to have that inning back, and then had an infield single in the 5th.
And a couple of the balls Hosmer hit early in his first 2 at-bats were to the opposite field. He's pretty good middle away. Let's see if Axelrod will give him anything in. He does not have a home run this year, and he's due. There it is. Come in there for him.
Out in front of the mound, and Axelrod lost the grip, and now he throws it up the line. So Butler will go to third, Hosmer to second. That could be a base hit or an error, or it could be 2 errors. And they're going to call it a 2-base error. That could have been ruled a fielding error and a throwing error.
Because he bobbled there.
The fielding error allowing him to reach, and then the throwing error
could have
everybody moving up.
Yep, they could have gave him 2 on that.
It has not been a good year defensively for the White Sox. We've been showing you some of the numbers that have worked against them. And you can add defense, as they have now committed 20 errors in 28 games.
But there was Rios again backing up. If Rios wasn't there backing up, Billy would have scored. So at least there was one good play on that one.
Well, back in the first inning, there were 2 outs and nobody on. Butler and Hosmer reached, and Kane drove them home. In this inning, 2 outs and nobody on. Butler and Hosmer have reached, and now Kane again. And he hits it in the same spot toward right field, and that is foul. His triple in the second inning was up the right field line, and Rios went into a dive and he missed it, and Kane had an easy triple.
Is smooth, and the way that Guthrie's hitting his spots tonight, you still would like to be able to pick up a couple extra runs for him. I mean, because they do have some guys that can hit some homers, but Kane really wants to try to shorten up his swing and just find a hole and give him a little more breathing room.
One ball, one strike. Well, the Royals would like to see more consistency from their offense, but boy, if you compact their offense from the 7th inning on, they've been one of the best in the league, with Alex Gordon and Lorenzo Cain leading the way. That's batting averages in the 7th inning or later. And Gillespie cuts in front of Ramirez and throws out Cain. So Axelrod gets around the two out errors. The Royals have stranded 2, and now they've left 9 on base. Missouri are teaming up to help you stop smoking. For more information, call 1-800-QUIT-NOW. Jeremy Guthrie with 7 scoreless innings and seems to be picking up steam in the later innings. He has retired the last 10 White Sox hitters, and that includes Alexei Ramirez. He takes a strike. Ramirez has grounded out twice. He has not thrown more than 19 pitches in an inning, so he has the fuel to go 9, no doubt about that. And he gets another ground ball, and Escobar will throw out Ramirez for a second time tonight, and that's 8 straight innings where the White Sox have not had the leadoff man on. Remember, you can vote for the Royals Player of the Month, sponsored by Majestic and Rally House. Vote at Rally House stores and get a chance to go on field and meet the winning player.
Okay, next pitch will be his 80th, although Ned Yost does have some action up in the bullpen. Collins and Herrera.
And they look like they're just getting their arms loose. They don't look like a couple of guys that are getting ready to come into the game, do they?
Yeah, like Monty said, you know, they used to get their work in at the end of the game if they weren't coming in. That's a base hit.
So that snaps the string. And for Tyler Flowers, that's his first hit. He played a big role in Chicago when the White Sox took 2 out of 3 from the Royals to begin the season.
Okay, Guthrie deserves a lot of the praise of the way he's been pitching, but I have to tell you that it's more than just physical. He has a focus out there like I haven't seen a lot. He comes out there, hustles out to the mound, he runs off the field. He is focused pitch to pitch. Now, on the other side there, Salvi at the end there, Salvador Perez has the ability to retain the game plan throughout the whole game. So he's getting some help with Salvi in there.
Well, it was just a couple of starts ago for Irvin Santana when he was so good. And he's been around a long time. Santana, he's accomplished a lot. He's pitched in the playoffs. But who was the first person he wanted to talk to after his start at the beginning of the homestand against Cleveland?
Salvador.
1-1 on Dwayne Wise. He is grounded out twice.
And talking with Guthrie at the end of the year last year, asking him about the chances that he thought he might could come back here, he mentioned two things. Salvador Perez, number one, and number two, the defense behind him. He likes that whole setup. And the third thing was the big ballpark.
And he has done very well in this big ballpark since coming over in that trade with Colorado. Guthrie is 6-2 at Kauffman Stadium. Now, he pitched here before as a member of the Baltimore Orioles, but since becoming a Royal, 6-2 here in Kansas City. Popped up, and Moustakas runs over to the White Sox dugout, reaches, he's got it.
And that defense that he praised so much last season has helped him here in this game. Moose finding the wall first, find that little wall, and then make the play, then look up. Knew where he was the whole time.
And now De Aza 0 for 3, and not your typical slap leadoff man. He has 5 home runs, and he's down, no balls and 1 strike. Guthrie, if you look at what he's done on the radar gun so far tonight, he is topped out at 95. If you look at our Time Warner Cable Ultimate Internet pitch speed, Axelrod at 90. 1 ball, 1 strike. So he's throwing hard tonight when he wants to, but it's been different from what he did against the White Sox in Chicago. In that game, he struck out 9, which is 1 shy of his career high. And that was in just 6 innings. Tonight, 7 2/3. Only 2 strikeouts so far, and he's really used his defense. And that takes De Aza down to his knees, literally.
Man, that was right off of his big toe. Ooh, maybe it
might have hit him 3 times.
Yep, might have got him in the heel.
That looked like it might have. Maybe I didn't see that right. It looked like it might have hit him in the back knee, to the heel, to the abdomen.
Thought it was his big toe, but you know it's even worse really on your ankle than that. Well, there's no good place, I'll put it that way. That's why a lot of guys, right on the top of his laces. There's no good place for that to happen. I mean, that's why guys wear them shin guards and foot guards. He'll probably have one on tomorrow.
And it's cold. It's not freezing cold like it's been, or like it was when we were in Chicago, but it's cold enough to add to the sting.
Especially if you're a speed guy. So with 2 strikes, if he does get back in that box again, Guthrie, most pitchers go right back to the same pitch that they previously threw to the batter.
Well, it will warm up eventually. And when it does, parents, we hope you'll sign your kids up for Slugger's Blue Crew, brought to you by the Learning Quest 529 Education Savings Program. Members receive a gray batting practice jersey, a Royals hat, blue wristbands, ticket vouchers, priority access for the Sunday Fun Run, and more for just $25. And you can sign up right now at Royals.com/Blue Crew. You pitch him down and in again here.
Same pitch.
And it's hit to Hosmer. Foul. Called by first base umpire Mike Ushlinski, who is right behind Hosmer. So it's still 1-2. This will be pitch number 90 for Guthrie. And there's 2 outs in the 8th inning. There he goes, down and in. 2-2. That was a good pitch, wasn't it? Just by his body language, De Aza looked like he was not expecting him to go away.
Guthrie knows it's getting towards the end here.
Fouled away with Flowers running. Well, if you add up what he's done tonight, since becoming a Royal, Jeremy Guthrie has thrown 43 1/3 innings against the White Sox. 43 1/3 innings, and he's allowed 2 earned runs. And De Aza goes the other way. Flowers does not run well, so even though he was going on the pitch, he'll stop at second. And now 2 on with 2 out. That's De Aza's first hit. And now Ned Yost pops out of the dugout. Ned has 2 options. He has Herrera and Collins ready to go.
And he's going to ask Guthrie and Salvi. All right. I want to give the veteran the nod on that. Of course, he looked at Salvi first. Salvi? Oh, he's muy bueno. Looking good.
And so you might ask, why now? Well, the go-ahead run is at the plate. If Guthrie comes up now, the worst case scenario, he ends up with a no decision. But by facing another hitter, worst case scenario is the White Sox could take the lead. And so that's just a manager showing a veteran pitcher some respect and allowing him to dictate his own fate.
Yeah, and that's a nice low strike there.
1 ball, 1 strike on Keppinger. He is struck out, lined out, and flied out. One of the toughest men in baseball to strike out, and it's been that way for several years. But Guthrie got him on 3 pitches in the first inning. That is low. 2 balls and 1 strike. Just the second time all game the White Sox have had more than 1 base runner. On the ground, foul, 2-2. And now Guthrie is at 97 pitches, and the crowd here tonight, they appreciate his efforts. Maybe realize that he's getting close to his finish line, with Ned Yost already making a trip to the mound and trying to get behind him, get him through this 8th inning. And it's hit on the ground to Escobar. He will go to Getz. 8 shutout innings for Guthrie.
Guthrie looking to stand alone with 17 straight wins. straight without a loss. Not 17 straight wins like I went out with that last commercial. The longest current streak in the major leagues, and would set a new Royals record if he can get through this game.
Now, we haven't seen a lot of handshakes and pats on the back, so I would assume right now that he is still in the game. That's just conversation in between innings with teammates. There is nobody warming up at the moment. Guthrie is now at 93 pitches. Dylan Axelrod, 98 pitches. 98 pitches for Guthrie. Dylan Axelrod is up over 100. He's at 103. As he's going to try and give the White Sox at least 8. And he throws a strike to Mike Moustakas, who was hit by a pitch in the first inning. Otherwise 0 for 2. And again, we get back that Axelrod hasn't really dominated the Royals this year, but what has been a strength for the Royals offense this season is hitting with runners in scoring position. And they've had their share tonight, but they're just 1 for 7 with runners in scoring position.
I like how he moves the ball around, changes speeds and locates. He's a nice pitcher. He's a good guy to have.
He's had some good fortune. There have been several lineouts to the outfield. And Adam Dunn plays a difficult hop and comes back to the bag for out number 1. Just looking at the scorecard, at least the way I've scored it, Escobar has lined to the outfield 3 times. Butler has lined to the outfield once. Francoeur has lined to the outfield once. Perez once, and Getz once. So a lot of hard hit outs. Not talking about routine fly balls to the outfield, but balls that were hit hard to the outfield. And that tied up Francoeur. And Gillespie makes the play on the grass, and Francoeur is 0 for 3, 2 down.
So there are some fans that do score at home, correct? They probably score at home. Now, when you score, Ryan, when a guy hits a line shot, you put an L?
Yes.
Okay, and if he hits a pop fly, do you put a P or an F for a fly ball?
Neither. I just put the number, whether it's a pop out or a fly out routine. If he pops to third, 5. If he flies to left, 7. Want to know why?
Yes, why?
Because if he fouls out to left field or third, then it can be an F5 or an F7.
Nice.
I didn't like FF7. Foul fly to 7.
You're right.
I've got plenty of other dull things to talk about if you'd like. That's just the tip of the iceberg.
No, we were talking about how you score it. I mean,
how about you?
I just learned something. I used to go P or F.
Okay.
And I didn't even think about a guy using F for a foul. I mean, I just put F for a lazy fly ball. P is a pop up. But keep in mind, I never kept a score ever until I got to the broadcast booth, and I was totally lost. So I just learned my own way. There's not one right way, is there?
No. In fact, of all of us, you, me, Fizz, Denny, Steve Stewart, Monty, Joel, I don't think any of us does it exactly the same. 2-hit game for Salvador Perez. And 6 hits in the last 2 series.
Now on that I wrote down 1B9, and I write the number of where he hit it to right field, center field, or left field, so I know where he went with the ball. I learned that from Fizz. I look over at your scorecard once in a while, and I have a hard time reading it. That's 1B9. You got 1B9 on there.
And now Robin Ventura will come get Dylan Axelrod, who is in a whole bunch of trouble in the first inning. And he's danced around base runners all night, but he will depart with a runner at first, 2 down in the bottom of the 8th. And a Chevy call to the bullpen as Matt Thornton will come on to face Chris Getz. Royals bat in the bottom of the 8th inning. You can subscribe to MLB.tv right now, and you'll watch every out-of-market game live online in HD. And features include choice of home and away broadcasts, DVR functionality, and multi-game viewing options. So visit now and join the millions of fans already watching games. MLB.tv, baseball everywhere.
If you want to know the definition of a bad ball hitter, just take a look at your catcher, Salvador Perez. Look where that ball was. That ball was up and away. Most likely would have been a ball. Saturday's ball, watch this one. Carlos Santana, the catcher, was reaching way back to keep it from going to the backstop. That ball was up and away by a foot, and he hit it out of the yard.
Yeah, Santana, he fell into the Royals dugout after reaching for that ball.
Yeah, he was trying to keep it from going to the backstop.
So Matt Thornton comes on after Dylan Axelrod threw 113 pitches. And Chris Getz is 1 for 3. Salvador Perez takes off, and Getz fouls it away.
It's a little hit and run there. You see Ned putting that on with Salvador. He pretty good jump. Make sure you don't get picked off on a hit and run. And you know what? He didn't even peek. Looked like to me he was straight stealing.
I like it.
How about that?
Hey, if you get a jump, go.
Mid-90s fastball from Thornton. He's got a little slider. Cutter.
Seven and 2/3 innings, by the way, matches a career high for Axelrod. And he did all of that without a strikeout. Not one single strikeout in 7 and 2/3, and only 1 walk. So the defense was heavily involved, and they stepped up for him. Greg Holland looks like he's ready to go. The question is, will he begin the inning, or is he ready to go if Jeremy Guthrie gets into trouble in the 9th inning?
I'm not a fortune teller guy, but I'm hoping that Ned lets Guthrie at least come out.
Oh, broken bat, and he hit it off of his foot. Guthrie has never thrown a shutout, and he is at 98 pitches.
That's the double whammy right there for Getz. He broke his bat and fouled it off his foot at the same time. Guthrie's thinking about it. Like you said, Ryan, I didn't see anybody coming over and shaking his hand and saying good job. So those signs seem to point to he's going back out.
Sliced up the left field line, and De Aza has it land in the first row. And that looks like a guy who's still in the zone, not somebody who's just sitting back, done with his day of work.
Nope. Yeah, he's in the moment.
Fouled away again by Getz. For now, Robin Ventura isn't asking a lot of his bullpen, bringing on Thornton with 2 outs in the 8th, but the bullpen has struggled lately with an ERA of 7 in the last 9 games. That's been another problem for Chicago. Talked about their low batting average, fewest runs scored in the league, lowest on base percentage in the league. They have committed 2 errors tonight, and they're near the bottom in the league with 20 errors, and lately a struggling bullpen.
You know, Adam Dunn is a big guy over there. He dwarfs a lot of base runners. But Salvador Perez standing over there, he's almost an equal match. I mean, he's just 22 years old.
That'd be a fair jump ball.
You know, Dunn's a little bit thicker because he's, you know, a lot older. But 2 big men. So 9-pitch at bat for Getz. That's good. Seeing a lot of pitches.
And he works a full count. So he comes back from 0-2. And Perez will get to run again.
Yeah, but it's an at-bat like this, Ryan, that could really, especially if you win it, if he wins it with a walk or a knock, get him in a nice groove. Seeing so many pitches like this and then winning it gives you really good confidence.
And he lines it the other way, and it's going to be caught by De Aza. So again, gets lines to the outfield, and he's out. Guthrie takes a swig of water, grabs his glove, and will try to pitch the first shutout in his career. To complete his first major league shutout. But despite whatever happens here in the 9th inning, he is our forward play of the game.
And he should be. He took them out with confidence like he always does. At least he has, wearing a Royals uniform. And he has not disappointed. Good crowd here for as cold as it is here. And they have not been disappointed. Guthrie showing his athleticism, fielding balls, pointing them out, and having a nice defense. And a manager that has a lot of confidence in him. Ned had a brief meeting last inning and said, hey, look, what do you think? He goes, I'm good. All right. Back to the dugout, and here he is. And he came out to a nice round of applause from the fans. They want to see a shutout.
And Rios jumps on the first pitch. Gets a little pop-up out into shallow right. And Getz brings it down for the out. So that means 9 straight innings where Guthrie has retired the leadoff hitter.
That wasn't routine either. It was a tester. Now he'll play that shift to the right side with Getzy playing a shallow center. The second baseman Escobar way on the second base side of the bag. See, I like to call that a little triangle defense there.
And a strike to Dunn. 0 for 2 with a walk. One and one. The last time the Royals shut out an opponent was during the Cleveland series on this homestand, and that included Jeremy Guthrie. He went 6 2/3 of that. Tim Collins and Luke Hochevar were part of that shutout. The last time one guy threw a shutout, it was that man there, Luke Hochevar, last June against Tampa Bay. So almost a year. 2 down. Jeremy Guthrie is pitching in his 216th Major League game. Ball 1-2, Paul Konerko. He has thrown 4 complete games in his career. He has won 58 games in his career. He's never thrown a shutout. 1-1. Last time he threw a shutout as a professional was 10 years ago in A-ball with the Indians. 2 shutouts pitching for Akron. Right center field. Francoeur is there, and Jeremy Guthrie has thrown his first Major League shutout.
That shutout leaves no doubt that Shields isn't the only ace on the Royals staff. Hello, Jeremy Guthrie.